Happy Advent day number 23. We're reading from Matthew 2, 1 through 12. The Magi visit the Messiah. Now, the Magi are, or wise men, as a lot of people know them as, didn't visit Jesus as a baby. Some people know that, and other people may not. The reason why it's important to understand is because in the scriptures, it talks about them visiting the child and not the baby. And it talks about them going to the house and where he was living, rather than in the manger, in the the stable. So, all right, Matthew 2. Now, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, "Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and have come to worship him." When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. So they said to him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus is written by the prophet, but you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not the least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod, when he had secretly called the wise men, determined from them what time the star had appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search carefully for the young child. And when you have found him, bring back word to me that I may come and worship him also." When they heard the king, they departed. And behold, the star which they had seen in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. Then they saw the star. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. And when they had come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented gifts to him, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Then, being divinely warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed for their own country another way. So I've got a couple things here for word wealth from Matthew 2:5, prophet. Prophetess. I don't know. Strong's number 4396. From pro, forth, and femi, to speak. A prophet, therefore, is primarily a forth-teller, one who speaks forth a divine message that can at times include foretelling future events. Among the Greeks, the prophet was the interpreter of the divine will, and this idea is dominant in biblical usage. Prophets are therefore specially endowed with insights into the counsels of the Lord and serve as his spokesman. Prophecy is a gift of the Holy Spirit, 1 Corinthians 12:12, which the New Testament encourages believers to exercise, although at a level different from those with the prophetic office, from Ephesians 4:11. And then kingdom dynamics, Matthew 2:12, dream, prophetic dreams and visions. The New Testament opens with a burst of dreams, visions, angelic visitations, and prophecies, and closes with John's revelation on the Isle of Patmos. Throughout are many encounters with God in dreams and visions, yet neither Jesus nor the apostles give any particular precepts concerning the phenomena of dreams or visions. This is somewhat enigmatic in that while the Bible does not teach about dreams and visions in any systematic manner, yet by citing so many significant examples of it, validates their existence and use by God as a means of communication to the people. Okay. So, I'm just going to read the little commentary at the bottom about the wise men and then the star in the east. So the wise men, or more correctly, Magi, were Eastern astrologers. Astrology was a sophisticated science in this era. Their visit serves to emphasize Jesus' kingly identity, affirm the Bethlehem origin of the Messiah, and emphasize the Gentile faith and worship in contrast to Jewish hostility. Star in the East. As trained students of the stars, the wise men observed an unexplained phenomenon in the heavens, which was somehow interpreted by them as a sign of the birth of the King of the Jews. The reference to verse 1 to Herod the King, Herod the Great, would make their visit prior to 4 BC when he died and was succeeded by his son Archelaus. In verse 22, Matthew consistently uses the verb worship to describe the attitude and posture of people before Jesus. And I was watching a pastor on, I don't even know, maybe YouTube or something like that. I'll have to get his name. I always forget. I think it's Jonathan something. Anyway, he was talking about back in the Old Testament when Daniel was taken from Jerusalem or Israel and by Nebuchadnezzar, and they were basically he and all the other people, the Jews, were being held captive, but Daniel was kind of put in a position to oversee these astrologers or magi or wise men. So this pastor, Jonathan, I believe is his name, was saying that in the book of Daniel, we read about him being put above these astrologers. And when this king invaded Jerusalem and took all the money and gold out of the temple, it was kept where Daniel and all of these people were. And but Daniel was instructing these astrologers and about Jewish traditions and beliefs. And so Jonathan's theory, or the pastor's theory, is that hundreds of years later, when we talk about the wise men that visit Jesus, that they might be like great grandchildren of those wise men from Daniel's time that were instructed in the ways and like the history of the Jewish history. And so that is speculation about why these wise men would think this star, this phenomenon of the star, is interesting because of the prophets like Isaiah talking about this Messiah to come. And word gets around that there's a star and there's a baby born in Bethlehem that's King of the Jews, a virgin birth. So that, and his other theory is that possibly that because this gold was stolen from the temple hundreds of years ago, he thought maybe that this gold could have been in the treasury. Stop, Avery. All that time, and when they bring back they bring Jesus gold, frankincense, and myrrh, that possibly the gold is from when they stole it in Daniel's day. So I just thought it was an interesting theory. So there you go. So we have one more day of Advent. Come on, dude. Ugh. One more day of Advent, Chess. And then it'll be Christmas. And then we can do the 12 days of Christmas together. So I hope you found this informative. I know I kind of got a little sidetracked and rambled a little bit. But I found what the pastor said really interesting. And an interesting theory. And you never know. When we get to heaven, maybe we'll find out if that's accurate. So God bless you. Have a great night. And I'll see you tomorrow night for our last Advent reading. All right. God bless. Good night.